Take a deep breath and allow your body to soften, resting into whatever position feels most comfortable tonight, with your shoulders loose and your hands quiet, as if the day has already melted far behind you, leaving nothing to carry forward. Only the gentle stillness that comes when everything around you is safe and calm. And as you notice your breathing slowing, let your thoughts wander at an easy pace. No hurry, no effort, simply the calm of being right here, right now, at the edge of rest, where a quiet window waits, a simple frame of glass and wood, opening toward a hush that belongs only to the night, steady and sure, with no surprises and no demands, only the invitation to notice its presence, soft and clear, like moonlight resting on the sill, like cool air brushing lightly against the skin, as if each detail were designed to remind you that it is enough to be here, to watch, to linger, to close your eyes whenever you are ready. And in this safe stillness, you may imagine the window that opens to another night, a second unfolding of shadows and lamplight, waiting just beyond the first, as gentle as a folded blanket placed nearby, as familiar as the sound of your own breath, a place where you can simply rest without expectation. And in this quiet thought, you can trust that nothing is needed beyond what is here. Nothing is urgent, everything is steady tonight. As you continue to settle into this restful space, let your mind move slowly toward the idea itself, not as something distant or complex, but as a soft picture forming in gentle strokes, where a window opens onto a scene that is both familiar and quietly new, a view of another night unfolding with calmness, as if time itself had chosen to offer you an extra stretch of stillness, a longer ribbon of moonlight, a wider field of cool air, a second chance for the body and the mind to loosen, drift, and be unhurried. And when you imagine that window, you may see it in the simplest way. A frame you have known, perhaps in a favorite room, perhaps in a place remembered from long ago. A shape of wood and glass that carries no weight except the beauty of what lies beyond. A scene unchanging, slow, steady, filled with shades of gray and silver, with shadows that drift across quiet ground, with lamplight that glows but never fades, each detail arranged in a way that feels natural, like breath itself, like water flowing gently along the shore, like leaves swaying just enough to remind you that movement can be quiet, too. And in that unfolding of another night, there is no expectation, only the gift of time stretching a little longer, carrying you forward on soft rhythms, steady and calm, so you can linger without effort, resting in the thought of being between one night and another, both safe, both gentle, both unhurried, each with its own quiet glow, each with its own cool air, each with its own shadows that whisper of rest. And when the mind touches these images, it does not need to decide, it does not need to compare. It simply notices, then settles deeper, the way a blanket might fall more fully across the body, the way a candle might dim without vanishing, the way silence might expand until it feels like its own gentle landscape, holding you, surrounding you, carrying you with care. And if you listen to the silence within these thoughts, you may hear the soft sound of your own breathing as part of it, steady, dependable, like the ticking of a clock in another room, or the rhythm of waves on a calm shoreline. And everything within this scene serves only one purpose: to offer space for rest, to let your body know it is safe to drift, to let your mind feel there is nothing else it needs to do, nowhere else it needs to be, nothing else it must carry forward, because everything is steady tonight. And as you rest with that, you may find yourself lingering on the textures, on the coolness of the air near the open window, on the softness of the curtain moving lightly, on the quiet comfort of the floor beneath your feet. Each detail small and simple, each detail reinforcing the same calm truth, that the window opening to another night is only an invitation to stay, to pause, to ease into stillness, to enjoy the repetition of calmness, as if one evening has flowed gently into two. and the stretch of time is simply more generous than usual, offering you a path that is lined with nothing but shadows, silence, and gentle air, as though the world itself has chosen to slow for you, to settle with you, to allow every part of you to rest. And in that thought, you can return to the breath, to the warmth of your blanket, to the comfort of knowing that the night will hold you. Whether you watch through the window or close your eyes, whether you imagine the second night or simply let the first continue, each version is steady, safe, and calm. And the softness of this idea can stay with you as long as you wish, carrying you deeper into rest. When you picture the window that opens to another night, you may let the thought arrive in small and gentle cycles, each one slow, each one unhurried, so the mind can drift across it the way clouds drift across a wide, quiet sky. And in this calm repetition, the idea becomes less about seeing and more about feeling, the soft reassurance of another layer of night, another fold of stillness, another chance to notice how safe and steady everything already is. And as you begin this long unfolding, you can rest in knowing there is nothing to solve and nothing to hold, only the rhythm of return, again and again, like waves, like breath, like the steady tick of a clock. And within each return, the window remains simple and steady, waiting in the same place, carrying the same cool hush, the same gentle view. And you can imagine yourself leaning close, noticing the frame, perhaps worn by time, perhaps smooth to the touch, perhaps carrying the scent of old warmed, then cooled by the air. And through the glass, you see the same night stretched gently across the sky, stars that do not hurry, shadows that do not press forward. Only a scene meant to be witnessed, then left to linger inside you as comfort. And as you watch this second night unfold, there is no difference between it and the first, except that it feels like time has been softened, elongated, made kinder. So your thoughts may fall slowly, one by one, until nothing remains but rest. And in this long calm, the refrain returns. Everything is steady tonight. Imagine how the air drifts through the open window, not rushing, not sharp, only the kind of coolness that soothes, brushing the skin like a calm tide, reminding you that the body can release even more. The way a leaf releases from a branch when the season turns, the way a candle releases its flame when the wax is spent. And in that release, you may feel yourself resting deeper into the surface beneath you, a little heavier, a little calmer, a little further away from the chatter of thought, and closer to the quiet of being. And here again, you find the simple view, the window, the night, the shadows, the quiet lamplight, repeating in gentle circles like verses of the same song, familiar, dependable, never pressing you to listen, only inviting you to rest inside its rhythm. And as you continue to drift, you may picture the window as part of a room, perhaps with a small table beside it, a chair, a shelf with books whose titles you cannot quite see, all softened by the dim glow of lamplight, all softened by the hush that comes with deep night. And through the window the other night waits, not a separate place, not a mystery, only another layer of calm, a doubling of time, a gentle expansion that allows your body and mind to let go again, and again, until the rhythm is steady and sure, like water moving across smooth stones, like a blanket settling more closely against your shoulders, like silence filling the corners of a familiar room. And as this vision continues, you may notice that it matters little whether your eyes are open or closed, whether you imagine stars or only sense the coolness of the air, because the idea itself is enough to hold you, to carry you through each cycle of calmness, each slow return to stillness, each soft pause where breath, body, and thought align, steady, simple, unhurried. And once more, you remind yourself, everything is steady tonight. In this way, the window becomes not only an image, but a rhythm, a quiet marker of how night can expand and how stillness can repeat. And you may choose to imagine tiny details each time, Perhaps the curve of the curtain as it sways. Perhaps the faint outline of branches outside. Perhaps the glimmer of starlight caught in glass. And each small detail is another doorway into rest. Another reminder that nothing needs to change. That you are already in the safe presence of night. Already carried by its rhythm. Already resting in its long unfolding. And with each cycle, the thought grows softer, calmer, wider, until it feels as though the whole of the night is another blanket placed gently across you, another room surrounding you, another breath breathing itself, all to remind you that you may stay here as long as you wish, as steady as the window, as quiet as the night beyond it, and as calm as the hush within yourself. Everything is steady tonight. As this gentle unfolding continues, you may notice how the image of the window carries not only stillness, but also a soft layering of meaning. A reminder that night itself can be generous, can be patient, can be wide enough to offer rest again and again, as though the hours themselves were doubled, as though every moment had more space around it. And in this layering, nothing is asked of you, nothing is required, only the simple noticing of calmness, repeated until it feels woven into your breathing, woven into the quiet shapes of the room around you, woven into the way your body rests, a little heavier, a little looser, a little deeper each time. And within this softness, you can return to the window, to the cool touch of the frame, to the faint sound of the curtain moving, to the silver hush of the world outside. And in all of these details, the truth returns. Everything is steady tonight. You may let the thought expand into clarifications, not sharp or heavy, but light and familiar, like tracing the edges of a quilt, like feeling the texture of smooth stones, like noticing how shadows lengthen across the floor. And within these clarifications, the image grows clearer and calmer, until the window is no longer a single object, but part of a full scene, one that holds its own gentle sequence of rest. First, the quiet glow of lamplight pooling nearby. Second, the stillness of the room, holding its silence. Third, the soft coolness drifting in from outside. Fourth, the slow rhythm of breath-keeping time. And fifth, the wide and steady night stretching on beyond all of it. Each element carrying you deeper into ease. Each element reminding you that this is enough. Each element arriving without hurry, like footsteps moving gently across a porch, like ripples spreading across still water, like echoes that fade slowly until only silence remains. And as you revisit these layers, the window becomes a trusted companion in your rest, never changing, never pressing, only offering the same gentle presence, cycle after cycle, night after night, a dependable marker of calmness. And in that dependability, you may sense how repetition itself becomes soothing, the way a lullaby repeats its lines, the way waves reach the shore again and again, the way breath always returns. And with each return, the refrain rises quietly. Everything is steady tonight. Let yourself drift deeper into these cycles, allowing the image to shift in small ways. Perhaps the night beyond the window feels cooler now. Perhaps the stars appear softer. Perhaps the curtain falls more still. And each shift is another invitation to sink further into rest. Another reminder that nothing must stay fixed. Nothing must be held tightly. Everything is allowed to flow at its own quiet pace. And the pace of night is slow. The pace of night is kind. The pace of night is long enough to carry you fully into ease. As you rest with this pace, you may imagine yourself sitting in the quiet room with the window open, your hands resting loosely, your eyes half closed, and the scene before you requiring nothing more than to notice its beauty, to feel its coolness, to rest in its presence. And over, as the cycles continue, the words return. Everything is steady tonight. Through these repetitions, the body knows what the mind is learning, that release is safe, that stillness is enough, that calmness is always near, waiting at the edge of awareness, ready to carry you deeper, ready to cradle you in silence, ready to stretch each moment into something softer wider, calmer, until all that remains is rest, as dependable as the window, as endless as the night, as steady as the refrain itself. Everything is steady tonight. Now, as the story winds toward its softest close, you may picture, once more, the window that opens to another night, not as something to study, but as something to lean upon, a quiet image that steadies the mind and eases the body, like a gentle hand resting nearby, like a blanket smoothed across the shoulders, like the hush that arrives when the last light fades, and with each breath you can feel the room around you softening, the corners dim, the air cooler, the silence broader, until it seems the night has gathered itself close to hold you fully. And as you notice this, the refrain arrives with certainty. Everything is steady tonight. Each part of the scene returns in long and gentle spirals. The lamplight glowing without effort, the curtain swaying without hurry, the shadows pooling across the floor without end. And beyond the glass, the other night unfolds as though it has always been there, waiting patiently, offering its second stretch of stillness, its second chance for release, its second wave of comfort. And in that generosity, you can allow yourself to sink even more deeply, resting as though on soft ground, resting as though on quiet water, resting as though on the breath of the night itself. The image does not change, yet it feels new each time you remember it. The way a familiar song feels different when heard in silence. The way an old path feels wider when walked slowly. The way calmness itself feels deeper the longer you stay with it. And here, in this final spiral, you may rest in knowing that nothing more is needed. No thought to follow, no moment to anticipate, only the steady unfolding of night upon night. Each one quiet, each one safe, each one already holding you. Everything is steady tonight. As the last images soften, you may let your eyes close fully. You may let your breath deepen naturally. You may let your body sink as though it belongs entirely to the bed beneath it. And with each pause, you are carried further away from the day, further into the hush of sleep, further into the gentleness that has been waiting through every word, every image, every cycle. And now, without effort, you are simply here, safe and calm, in the quiet presence of another night, ready to rest as long as you wish, steady, settled, and deeply at ease. And with the final whisper of thought, good night.